Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday, the third day of January 2025. I hope you're safe and healthy on this Friday. Happy Friday to you. Hope your family is safe and healthy. And I hope the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who every day are out here trying their best to save lives. Those also that pick up garbage, keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children that are victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People that are also victims of pornography, child pornography, prostitution and child prostitution, human trafficking and sex slavery, and double curses on the perpetrators, the profiteers, and those perverts that create the demands that make these evil industries exist. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 600,000 men, women, children, families, veterans, senior citizens, homeless in the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There's a scheduled basketball game tonight. The New York Knicks are in Oklahoma City to play the hottest team in the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder, led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and anchored by Isaiah Hartenstein. Right now, the Celtics beat Minnesota last night in Minnesota with no Jaylen Brown and no KP. No problem. They beat them 118-115. And so they are a full game ahead of the Knicks right now in the East. It's going to be a dogfight rest of the way, barring injuries. Speaking of injuries, both Jalen Brunson and Deuce McBride are listed as questionable tonight, which means that at this point, neither is seriously injured. This is particularly true of Deuce because hamstrings, as we know, just in recent history, I said with Precious and with Campaign earlier in the season, hamstrings can be tricky. So for them to list him as questionable, it seemed like if you look back on the last game, he probably tweaked something and as a precaution did not play Thursday. And he was expected to start. But he tweaked something and probably decided not to play, just to rest. This is a big game today. During the course of any season, you have big games all through the season. Okay, and as you get later in the season, if you're in contention, the bigger the games are. Now, right now, it's Cleveland, Boston, and the Knicks in the East. The Knicks have a full 4.5 game lead over fourth place Magic and a full 5.5 game lead over, actually 6 games over Milwaukee, Miami, and Atlanta. Now, each of those teams has their own issues. Every team does. Milwaukee has been inconsistent most of the year, and they're going to continue to have problems. And the reason is several-fold. Number one, Middleton has been unreliable in terms of his availability to Chris Middleton. Number two, their defense, when they are all healthy, is really good, even with Dame Dollar. But playoff time is a different animal. And they have already shown that come playoff time, they have difficulty getting stops when they need them. It's particularly when they have Damian Lillard on the floor, who is now in his closing in on his mid-30s. And then, of course, their key players, like I said, you have Middleton, Brook Lopez, who is in tremendous shape as somebody at age 36, tremendous shape. And then you have their ancillary pieces. So like Bobby Portis. So they are still a formidable team. But in terms of crunch time, in terms of getting those stops, and in terms of being ready for that next trip, I don't think so. Then, of course, there's Heat that's having Jimmy Butler problems. See, you have to consider this when you're looking at players. Here's Jimmy Butler. He came up with Tom Thibodeau in Chicago. Then he went to Minnesota, caused all kind of ruckus to get out of there. He was sent to Philly. Then he caused all kind of ruckus in Philly to get out of there. and claimed to be happy and content and ready for a chip in Miami. Now he wants to be traded again. He said as much yesterday himself. So wherever he's gone, he's a high-level player. But at the end of the day, he'll cause a ruckus in your locker room to get you to trade him, even if it costs your team. You don't want that guy on your team. No matter how good he is, you don't want that guy. Okay? So now he's going to look to be traded again. I don't know where. He wants to go to a contender, obviously, because he's trying to win a championship. To me, I have more respect for a Dame Dollar that put his all into Portland, quietly played at the high level many years before he was dealt to Milwaukee at the end of his career. Then somebody like Jimmy Butler, who has been at Chicago, Minnesota, Philly, and now Miami, and is causing problems in each organization. You have to take note of this. There's a lot of NBA 2K people that are out here just name players and let's go get them. How come we can't get that? And they have no idea what they're talking about because they don't consider stuff like this. That's extremely important to the culture and development of your organization and your hopes of winning a chip. See, Miami right now, they're always there, no matter who they have on their team. And when they trade Jimmy Butler, they're going to be good again, still, because their culture is solid. Their culture is solid. Their coaching staff and the front office is of one accord, and they have expectations when you join their organization. And if you don't like it, you could leave, which Jimmy Butler's probably going to do by the trade deadline. So they got their own problems in Miami, and that's costing them right now. Then, of course, there's Atlanta, who really is looking good, but their players just need more development. They really are looking good. I like the way they look. They've obviously got the Knicks number with Dyson Daniels, but he's a young boy, and in good as he is, they need to get a little bit more experience, but they're up and coming, but they're right there at the 7th seed. Well, really, they're all tied at the 5th seed right now. Then Indiana, who had some serious injuries and has lost some momentum there. And then you got Detroit, who's coming up from the bottom. Detroit is now 9th in the East, and they're in contention for a play-in spot. And I told you at the beginning, I've been watching them for a few years, and I expect them to make a move into that position this year, and here they come. And then there's the Chicago Bulls, who are one game in the play-in right now, in 10th spot. And they're 5-5 in their last 10. And we got to deal with them tomorrow on the second night of a back-to-back in Chicago. Very unpredictable. Again, this league right here, you can't always just look at the records, because this is the league, and you combine the fact that this is the league with the high level of parity right now that's in the league, and you understand that anytime you got to play anybody, you got to take it seriously. Okay, you got to take it seriously. So tonight, and I guess finishing that thought, the top 3 in the East, it appears right now, as we're heading, we're getting close to the midpoint of the season. Here we are in January. The top 3 in the East right now are separating from the rest of the East. They're separating. Okay, it's almost like when you're in a race, and it's a long distance race, and then you get to 3/4 in the race, it's almost over, and then the ones that are going to contend to win the race start separating from the pack. This is where we're at right now. So what's going on at this time of year is your Cleveland, your Bostons, and your New Yorks just want to get healthy and continue to develop their execution and be ready for the stretch run. Everybody else is going to try to make trades. They also want to get healthy, but they're going to try to make trades to try to get, and that's what the Knicks did too. They went and got Josh Hart one year, right? They got Derrick Rose one year. They continue to try to make trades to make that next step, to get that step for the stretch one, especially if you had injuries like last year. Bodega 44, right? Alec Burks, they went and got them for the stretch run. Of course, they made a huge trade getting OG and Precious also, but that was more than the stretch run. That was about championship contention for the future, which is now. So this is the moves teams are going to make. You're going to see trades. You're going for teams that are back in the pack, and then you're going to see execution for teams that are at the top. Celtics, the Knicks, and Cleveland, they have no need to make trades. I know people keep saying, well, they need to know if Mitchell Robinson's going to come back, if they need to get a big man. No, they don't. Mitchell Robinson's going to come back. It's just a question of when. And the Knicks know that. So we're not waiting to see if we need to make a trade. We don't. And not only that, again, people are always, you're so used to looking at the Knicks negatively. Wake up. This is the 5th year with Tom Thibodeau, and we here. It's not that we need to make a trade. Teams need to make trades to keep up with us. To keep up with us, Boston, and Cleveland. Teams need to make trades to catch us. And they're hoping Mitch Rob doesn't come back, because if he does, or should I say, when he does, if they don't have no other injuries and everybody's healthy, there's going to be hell to pay. Okay? And I already explained to y'all, somebody said the other day, oh, nobody foresaw the Knicks winning 12 out of 14. And I've been saying, when Precious, Cam, and Deuce were all healthy together, there's going to be hell to pay. Well, now you're seeing it. Okay? So, we're in Oklahoma City. This is going to be a tough game. The Knicks are getting all amped for it, as you saw. Now you're going to have Jalen Brunson's going to be there. There's no question. There's going to be a fight. It's going to be a street fight in Oklahoma City, and Jalen Brunson's going to be waiting for it. Okay? If Deuce, hopefully he plays tonight, because that would be a sign. If Deuce plays tonight, it means that his hamstring was just tweaked, and he'll be all right. If he doesn't play tonight, I might be a little concerned. But I still, it's a slight concern, not a major concern, because we got, after these 2 back-to-back away games, the Knicks got like a 5-game homestand, okay? And I don't care who we got to play at Madison Square Garden. But during that course of time, hopefully Deuce will be ready to play if he's not tonight. But if he is, this is very good, okay? And we still got Cameron Payne, and we still got Landry Shamet, and we still got Precious Achiuwa. So we're coming. There's going to be a street fight in OKC tonight. And the Knicks are going to be there ready for the fight. So, big game. OKC, of course, again, the hottest team in the NBA. They've won 12 straight. No, sorry, 13 straight. 13 straight games, 28 and 8, excuse me. They're 28 and 8. They are 5.5 games above Memphis. Memphis is having a tremendous year, but they're struggling because John Morant is having a slight health problem staying in the lineup. And then there's Houston, who's really coming on. I mean, again, you got your veterans, Fred VanVleet, you got your veteran Dylan Brooks, but then you got your kids that's coming up now. Alperen Sengun. You got, of course, Jabari Smith Jr. You got your kids, Tari Eason. You got Jalen Green. You got your kids coming up now, okay? And they're also in the mix. Denver, I don't know about Denver. They're clearly not as dominant as they were leading up to their championship and in their championship year. The Joker is still an MVP level candidate, but they're just missing something, man. I think that year that they won the chip, the pieces, the ancillary pieces they had, that for whatever reason, some traded, some left, some signed elsewhere for more money, they don't have it right now, okay? Dallas, I don't care. Dallas is going to be there at the end, especially if Luka comes back. They're going to have a problem now, but they'll come back at the end. And the Lakers are surprising me too. So, and the Lakers made a trade, to get Dorian Finney-Smith. And that's what I'm saying. They need to just trying to make a trade to see if they can make a run. Minnesota, I expect them to make a run to come back. Watching them last night, they got the same issues the Knicks had with spacing with Juju, okay? They got the same issues. And you all blaming Tom Thibodeau, but it's not Tom Thibodeau. You got to work with what you got. But Dante's coming on, okay, as we thought. Big Ragu's coming on. So the West is going to be a dogfight. Right now, Oklahoma City itself, just Oklahoma City, is separating itself from the rest of the West right now. They're separating themselves from the rest of the rest. So it's Cleveland, Boston, New York, and OKC. And 2 of those teams are playing tonight in OKC. It's going to be a dogfight. The Knicks have already won 9 straight. If they can win this game here, it would be 10 straight, for the Knicks. So we'll see. This is going to be a dog. The odds are against the Knicks. I mean, if I want to look at this objectively, I got to give Oklahoma City the edge here because they're at home. They've been dominant. They won 13 in a row. They got most of their only guy that's hurt really is Alex Caruso. Outside of him, and of course Chet Holmgren. But since they got Isaiah Hartenstein, it's the same situation that was with us. It's going to be tough. Now, the keys here for the Knicks. Hartenstein is like everybody else in that he cannot guard El Gato Grande. Hartenstein is like El Gato Grande in this sense. He can get in early foul trouble. If El Gato Grande is going to the hole, it depends on the referees. Now, we must accept this as a statement of fact, Knicks Nation. Every game that the Knicks play, it's 5 against 8. Every game. We should not be surprised at that anymore. Every game that the Knicks play is 5 against 8, and you know what I'm saying. And the Knicks are so freaking good that even playing 5 against 8, they're 24-10. So we must assume going into Oklahoma City, it's going to be the Knicks against all the crowd in OKC, against the OKC team, and against the refs. So they cannot worry about the refs. They cannot pay attention to what the refs do or they don't do. So, but El Gato Grande got to be aggressive against Hartenstein. And what Gato's been doing, if his three-pointer is rolling, if he gets, and that's what the coach of Utah was talking about the other day, it's the threat of his three. See, he said he was so concerned with Cat hitting threes that he started going out on them more aggressively, and then Cat started driving by him. And Cat has been doing that to a lot of people this year because he's that good. So if he's hitting his three and Hartenstein's got to go out on him, that opens up a whole thing for the Knicks because now he can go by Hartenstein, possibly get foul calls, and get to the basket, or he could just nail threes. And Hartenstein's got to get up on him. So that's a good thing. That's how all of this starts offensively. Defensively, Hartenstein, again, tremendous passer, tremendous offensive rebounder. See, one of the reasons Knicks number one in the league last year in offensive rebounding is not only because Mitch Rock, but Hartenstein too. So Hartenstein, tremendous offensive rebounder, tremendous passer, okay? On that side of the floor, let him shoot threes. That's the guy we want to shoot the threes. So Gato could back up off him and make him shoot the three. And he's not going to put the ball on the floor and beat Gato. Okay, so that's a key too. Now, of course, we got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He is the deal. No, he's no longer just up and coming. He is now the deal. He's an MVP candidate, and he's good on both sides of the floor. This is a two-way player. He could play defense at a high level, and of course, with the ball in his hands, he can direct an offense, and he himself is a force, like Jalen Brunson, make his team win. Okay, I would say, honestly, with all due respect, he's better than Brunson because he is a legit two-way player. Okay, he's not, Brunson is elite, offensively, but obviously I think I'm not saying anything surprising to say he's not elite defensively. Well, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander can play both sides of the basketball. And he's legit 6'6". I don't know, but he looked like he got a 7-foot wingspan, and he knows how to use it. So that's going to be a difficult matchup. I don't think they're going to start off having Brunson try to guard him. Okay, it will be either Mikal or OG. But what ends up happening in the course of an NBA game is it doesn't matter who you want on who. It's the offense that's going to dictate who they set you up to be stuck on. So they're going to want to switch, pick till you get SGA with Brunson trying to guard. Okay? The Knicks do the same thing. The Knicks do the exact same thing. So the best teams are switchable so that if you can run all the picks you want and we still going to lock you down because whoever you stuck with is going to lock you up, right? So when you get Deuce in there, or Payne and Precious, and you running that second unit and Brunson's not in there, now we could switch on anybody you want and we could guard you. But with Brunson, they're going to attack him. So two things. Brunson's got to be tough defensively, as tough as he could be. Gato's got to be tough defensively. He cannot come out sleeping like he did against Washington. He's got to be awake and he's got to be ready. Okay, no stupid, ticky-tack fouls, which is a function of the Knicks, but is also a function of the refs. But we can't control that. What we can control, Cat is prone to ticky-tack fouls. He cannot have that today. Okay, as far as OG, he is like Bellwether, guaranteed to come out playing defense. I don't know who he's going to be guarding, but it doesn't matter. Any of the 5 guys on the floor, if he switches on them, they're going to have a problem. And McCall is a wing defender. They've been using him like that all year. I expect him to probably be on SGA to start the game. They're going to be trying to switch to get him off of SGA or get him off of SGA. Got to stick with that, okay? Then, of course, the wild card is Josh Hart. And this is what I was telling one of my subscribers yesterday. This is what makes the Knicks dangerous. You cannot game plan for Josh Hart. The Knicks don't run plays for Josh Hart. And if he's hitting his three-pointer, you got to guard him. And then if you guard him, he'll do what he did this last game. He'll go by you and dunk. And then you got him on the board. You got to always know where he is on the board because he comes crashing out of nowhere to get offensive and defensive rebounds. He got 14 the last game, or 15. Can't remember, but that's what I'm saying. You cannot game plan for him. And because of that, that's what makes him dangerous in the Knicks lineup. You cannot game plan for Josh Hart. Okay? And the energy he brings, of course, we all know about. So that's going to be a key as well. So the keys are Gato, he got to be the center of the offense, and you got to be awake on defense. Brunson, he got to be tough on defense. He can't force it offensively. If SGA's got you on lockdown, let that ball move and focus on Gato, and everything will be all right. And then, of course, the Knicks overall, we know they got to rebound the basketball, play perimeter defense. Got to be ready today. Perimeter defense. Keep those turnovers low like they've been doing. And it's going to be a tough game. I can't say even if they do all that, they'll win the game. This is a tough game. I also want to say don't start making conclusions about playoffs and stuff if they lose the game. Some of y'all like to do that. Oh, they can't beat KC. Stop it. This is a game. It's a litmus test. But that's what it is, a test. The real test comes playoff time. But for right now, it's a good measuring stick. Let's get this W. I won't be watching the game live, but I will see it tomorrow. Probably I'll see a condensed version of it prior to the Chicago game. But anyway, y'all enjoy it. Y'all be safe. Sure.